learning faces and all of that. I saw George Galloway when I came off the elevator, but you know, until he grabbed me and said that I still owed him $10. But the fact was, you know, it's a real pleasure to see everybody. And I will just say this, for those of you who heard this story for the 4 millionth time, after I was sitting in Martha's Vineyard during my vacation with the family, and it was like July maybe, it was July. And I had made some excuse to my wife that I need to get back to the ranch to do something. That was to address another 75 envelopes, right? So I sent out this, I claim it's 600 envelopes. And do you know how many responses I got? 3. So there I am at the end of July thinking, boy, I'm on a fool's errand. I mean, not only is it costing me a fortune, which is fine if things start to work out. But if you get 3 responses out of 600, that's not good. I don't know any, you know, in sports and in life, 3 out of 600 ain't good, you know.
Get involved with politicians, though.
So, but you can see what happened, and we had a high number. I'm not going to bother you in too many details. We had a wonderfully high number right before the holiday, the winter holiday. And then, as life would have it, people started to go south. Literally and figuratively. Right. They went south. And so we were down to a real low number, and then all of a sudden, people got religion or something, and it started to come back up again to what you see here. And it's so rewarding, because I think that if you don't do it now, I don't know when you will do it. You know, it just is that way. But it's such a pleasure. I can tell you that it makes me feel good to see so many people. And as Omar Bradley said at one time, when they used to do the annual reunion in Normandy, and he was getting along in years, they interviewed him and asked, what is your favorite remembrance of these events, getting together? And he said, well, the names have long since gone. He said, I don't recognize names. He said, I still recognize some of the faces. He said, but considering everything, he said, the stories get better every year. So that was kind of nice. What we're going to do is we're going to get started, and I did write some notes before I started drinking. One, I want to say, where's John? There's John over there. We want to say congratulations once again for John having entered the OCS Hall of Fame. And we also want to give a lot of thanks to Bob Moore. Bob R. Moore. No. Bob E. Moore. Bob R. Moore. And you know, it takes, you don't know what it takes to write somebody up. It takes about 1 million pages, and it's very stylized and everything. And then the committee has to hear somewhere, whoever the nebulous committee is, they have to vote on it. And I understand when they saw John's picture, they weren't so sure. John won't admit that. No. But the fact is, thanks, Bob, for doing what you did, because it wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to also say thanks to Dennis. Dennis, you know, knocked the ball out of the ballpark with his thing. And the guy who followed him said, you know, he said, you want to follow Dennis. Dennis has made such a difference in the success. If we've had any successes, Dennis is right up there. You know, it was going along, and Dennis said, how about if we start doing a plaque? And I don't know if I said, how much does that cost? You know, but we had no budget. Dennis goes ahead right out of his pocket. And that started the 8 chaos. First of all, we thought we had 9. Thank goodness it's shrunk into 8. But the fact is, out of his pocket, he knew who to call, got it going, and there we did it. Then the next thing is, and you hit this for me, is that he ordered the one with all our names on it. So if you saw the two plaques, you see the ones of the 8 who were killed in Vietnam, and then the rest of us are on the other plaque. And it is so distinguished, I think, simple, dignified, in the right setting, and at the right time. I mean, you could have done it next year or the year before, but this was the time to do it. And it was Dennis, so thank you, Dennis. I want to thank you so much. Please.
That's classic stuff. He used his initiative to do that stuff. Of course, it's probably got a Cayman Island account for all the money.
Somebody still owes me from $20 from the night in Panama, and I want the money.
It wasn't very tough.
No.
All right. Now let's get into things if we can. Will you all, let's do two things and not put my hand in Dennis's wood. Will you, number one, if you haven't gotten a chance, will you just peruse the program so you know what part you're playing and all that type of thing? Just be familiar with it. And while we're doing that, will one or two gentlemen at each one of the tables, will you charge the wine glasses, and we'll get that accomplished in this time. So review of the program, one or two wine glasses.
That's assuming there's gentlemen.
I'll try this one. I'll masquerade.
I'll take some.
Go ahead. You're steady.
No,
I'll take the I will drink it all. He's in our shoes, right? Well, yeah, I got a joke.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you can and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me with the toast to the United States Army.
The invocation first. The invocation first.
invocation. Pray before we drink.
Well,
Whatever.
let us remain standing as we pray. Dear Lord, tonight we thank you for the power that you have over our lives. We are gathered here and we're so grateful, Lord, for the 94th company of OCS candidates and our respective spouses. As we look over the 50 years since we last stood on these hallowed grounds, our hearts are touched as we remember the ultimate sacrifice of our 8 fellow candidates who gave their lives for our freedom. We're so grateful, dear God, for your grace and mercy. Bless us one and all as we socialize tonight. We give special thanks to Major General Schuler for his efforts on behalf of our gathering tonight. Now, God, we ask you to bless the food for the nourishment of our bodies, giving thanks to God as we say amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing while we toast to the United States of America. I lift my glass to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And while we're standing, a point of privilege the General offered me is that as I stand and look around with my classmates, the incorrigibles, the misfits, there is one thing that I notice that's pervasive throughout the room. With all of your shortcomings, gentlemen, you have the world's greatest taste in women. To the
The good news about my mistake is we get to drink again. Yes. Please join me in a toast to the United States Army.
United States Army.
Please join me in a toast to the 94th Company, OCS.
To the misfits, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me a toast to our fallen classmates.
To our fallen classmates.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated, please.
I think what we're going to do now is begin to eat, so we gather our strength for the rest of the evening. So maybe what we'll do is, we'll just go people closest to the, if they just do that, we interact there. I'm just thinking, you know, he said, you know, have them go eat first, and then we eat last. That's leadership. So we eat last. So how about we start on my left, table 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll be last. How's that? We're number 2. Are we number 2? We're number
2. Make sure they leave some for me, okay? You tell them.
No jumping on line.